Because of a series of bad stroke, terrible management decisions, the Taj was losing money hand over fist. How much has the Taj lost on the Pierre?
Oh, it's a lot of money.
More than $100 million?
Yeah, definitely.
When you were offered the job, what did you think?
Deep, inherent desire to do something for a brand from the country of my origin.
Are you admitting that? Because everybody in the industry knows you've turned down the job once, so that's true.
I just thought it was inappropriate at that time.
You're sitting in the CEO's office. What are the first things you do?
In 4 months, to turn everything around and create 100 crore plus profit.
Sounds like madness.
Sounds like madness, but it was doable.
You're saying hoteliers have not coped well with the restaurant boom?
Since I started my career, we just keep changing the price, but not the value that we offer. We had everybody's preferred restaurant, especially in Japanese cuisine, Wasabi.
Yeah. वो तो बंद कर दिया. You closed it.
We had to close it. So every miso soup we would have sold would have created a loss.
When you took over, when Marriott was about to overtake Taj as the largest hotel company.
World's strongest hotel brand. 4 years out of the last 5 years, it has to be earned.
If you are the world's strongest brand in hotels, then you need to expand and take that clout to foreign markets.
What we need is really Bangkok, Singapore, Bali, and we need a hotel definitely in Switzerland.
One of the criticisms within the industry, when you went out into these other areas where he's neglecting the luxury business.
If there is one brand that has become a big challenge for the entire world in luxury, then it is the Taj brand.
One of your predecessors used to have a whiteboard outside his office with a figure. That's much interest I'm paying on this God-forsake Xerox project.
It's been resolved, and I think this is the next icon of India, equivalent to our Marina Bay Sands or our Burj Al Arab. If Jamshedji Tata's vision was the Taj in Colaba, then Mr. Ratan Tata's vision was the Taj Bandstand.
You were inheriting a hopeless task. Did anyone tell you that?
When you serve the Taj, you serve the nation.
So what happens now? How long will you do this?
Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, we'll see what comes.
Rolling. I could introduce my guest today as being one of India's leading hoteliers. It's true, but it would be like saying the Pope is Catholic. It doesn't capture the full scale of what he has achieved. Puneet Chhatwal came into the Taj Group when it was at a low ebb. He's turned it around. He's taken it from a loss-making company to a massively profitable company. He's increased shareholder value in a way that nobody had ever imagined. He's turned it into one of the world's fastest-growing hotel companies. And he's done all this without getting in lots of people from outside, by working with the Taj people and achieving something with Indians. Puneet Chhatwal, welcome to Table One.
Thank you for having me, Vir.
Okay. So let's start at the very beginning. You took the Taj job in which year?
I took the job with Taj in November 2017.
November 2017?
November.
How many hotels did Taj have when you joined?
Well, when I joined, we had a portfolio of around 140 hotels, including all the
Ginger.
brands, including Ginger. And the pipeline was very small, was like 15 hotels in pipeline. So approximately 125 hotels in operation and 15 in the pipeline. And if we look at it today, we are almost 630 plus hotels with 385 in operation and 255 in pipeline. So we have approximately 32,000 rooms in operation and 32,000 rooms in the pipeline.
Okay. When you took over, what was the market cap?
Market cap was around 13,000 crores. We hit 1,20,000. We are now close to 1 lakh because of all the things happening around us with the West Asian crisis.
There's been a huge, massive expansion. Has this come at the cost of profit? What was the profit of the company when you joined?
Well, I think as a publicly listed company, everyone is aware we were a loss-making company since 2611 happened. And we had in between a year of small accounting profit, but till 2017 we were loss-making. And this year we posted our profit after tax north of 2,000 crores.
Which is probably like their turnover when you joined, no?
No, I, the turnover was around 4,000 crores. So yes,
Yeah,
we
sure,
should
sure.
get very close to that as our EBITDA in the next 14 months.
Okay, so now I'm going to editorialize. I'm not sure you agree with me. The general view of the Taj was that it was the greatest hotel company in India. It had these great brands, it had these great properties. People who went to the Taj were loyal to the Taj. And yet, somehow, because of a series, I'm saying this, not you, series of bad stroke, terrible management decisions, the Taj was losing money hand over fist. Various people had tried to turn it around, had failed to turn it around, and you were inheriting a hopeless task. Did anyone tell you that?
Not really. I think there are a few things which I have said on record, and I'm very happy to repeat it here.
Repeat it. Try
I
and say
think
something new also, but repeat this.
so. I think one of the things is when you serve the Taj, you serve the nation. I think that's a very, very important one. Number two is Taj is not just a brand, it's an emotion. And emotions are not created by miracles or turnaround people. It's the careful building of a legacy of 125 years approximately that our forefathers have given. And in a 125-year legacy, there'll be some very great years, some very great decades, and not so great ones. And I think maybe the timing was such that we could have only slowly gone up, and we had the bad period behind us. It's not the first time it happened, it had happened several times in the past. And I think we have to be very thankful to the people who, starting from the founder who created the Taj. With the 70s, when we got our second, third, fourth hotel, the second one being Rambagh, the third one being Lake Palace in terms of opening, and in a reverse order in terms of signing. These kind of iconic assets. And that is what created the Taj brand. And then obviously the series of other brand introductions followed, like Vivanta, like Gateway, like Ginger, almost 25 years ago. Those executions, for a variety of reasons, were not the way they should have been. And I think that was the opportunity for us to reimagine these brands, relaunch these brands, add new ones based on the new India, where India was heading now versus where it was. The way we are growing, we became the fastest growing country in the world in the size and the economy of our country. So I think all these put together was a great opportunity, and the team together with me, we were able to contribute positively, and that makes us a bit, I would say, happy, a bit pleased, and very content.
And very modest. So basically, your view is that the Taj was a great, great company. It has ups, it has downs. There was a time when it was down, but it was cyclical. You had just the good fortune to come in at the right time, and the great team helped you, and that's why you're where you
Absolutely.
are today.
And of course,
Okay.
I also had to go through a bad time.
So I'm going to talk about the more interesting things now that you've done all the PR stuff about how wonderful the Taj is. When you were offered the job, what did you think?
Well, I think this is the second opportunity. The first time when it came around.
Are you admitting that? Because everybody in the industry knows you've turned down the job once. So that's true.
Yes, because
when were you offered the
that
job?
was 2013. I didn't have a black and white offer, in writing, but yes, I was asked the serious question. I just thought it was inappropriate at that time. I had taken on the role of the CEO of the traditional German hotel company called Steigenberger Hotels AG. I had not even finished 1 year. You should not leave any job unfinished unless you are forced out, but you should not do that. Second, they had made an exception in the history of Germany to get, a CEO of Indian origin. This doesn't happen very often, has never happened before, has not happened thereafter in any of the businesses, in any of the sectors in that country. Even the Deutsche Bank CEO was a co-CEO. He was never the sole CEO. So that's the second part of the thing. Third, there were other reasons, like my daughter had not finished her school. And everything was fine in India. My mother was healthy. There was no compelling reason not to finish a job that you've been interested with and just, like kind of move around just because it seems more lucrative, or the brand is more known, or the brand is more emotional. It's being, for all the great reasons I said, the Taj is the Taj.
But
So
that's a very sort of emotional reason that I've given my word to these people, and just because a better job has come along, I shouldn't break my word. That's the sum of it, right?
that is not just emotion, it's work ethics. I
Yeah.
think it's very important to be ethical in especially in the roles of senior leadership position, and it keeps that bridge between the cultures which I was known for. Bringing the Asian emotional quotient to Europe, and European management now to this part of the world. I think that hybrid made life work. If you break that sole basis, which is your main strength, then I think it's a very short-term thinking.
When you look back at your journey, obviously the Taj years have been happy, but you had options. You were very successful. You used to work at ITDC. You were the star. You did all the F&B at a very young age. Why did you leave?
Well, every young guy's dream. I got a scholarship to go and study at Cornell ESSEC, which was and is still in Paris.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you
I
speak French?
I spoke French,
Okay.
and but the studies were in English,
So you were okay.
so I was okay anyways. And 2 years masters, which I could have never afforded. When it comes your way as a scholarship, you don't leave. You just run and take the flight and
Yeah.
you're out.
And after that, you stayed on in Europe. You could have come back.
Yeah, it's very interesting because in my college days, I was learning German. So the desire was also to do something with Germany. And this course happened between 89 and 91. And in those years was the year of German reunification.
Right.
And my master's thesis was on the development of hotel business in the 5 new states of Germany, which was the former East Germany. And because of that, and because of some other reasons, and because of the language, I got an offer to work in a consulting group in Germany, and I happily accepted that.
So you really have been a European at heart. If you studied German earlier, you spoke French. So there's always been a tilt towards Europe.
Not really. If we turn the clock back for 40, 45 years ago, this is 81 to 84 is when I learned these languages. So it's 45 years ago.
That's a long time.
At that time, all international hoteliers were Germans, Austrians,
Or
and Swiss.
Swiss Germans, yeah.
So, and the best hotel schools for doing your apprenticeship or training happened to be there. So, how do you think of getting a chance to go to Europe and making it work? And one of the easiest ways I thought would be if I knew the language, that would differentiate me from the rest. So, in the morning, I went for French. The whole day was Pusa Institute doing hotel management. In the evening, it was Max Muller. And the number of hours that I put in got inculcated in my system at the tender age of 17, 18, 19.
The job is offered to you the second time around, which is when?
Which was July 2017. And by August, I had signed the contract. Yeah.
So what was your reaction when they offered you the job a second time? And why did you say yes this time?
The second time I had finished 5 years, I'd finished the turnaround of the company I was there. So there were 3 reasons.
So you turned that company around as well?
That, yes, it was turned around. It was one of the very nicely scripted hotel stories. Second was, of course, what I mentioned earlier. My family obligations were over. But an important family obligation was coming up. My mother, who managed very well living alone, was getting old and frail. And I knew that this was now slowly coming to an end. So that was the second compelling reason. The third was always that deep inherent desire to do something for a brand from the country of my origin, right?
Yeah.
And having worked with, the Radissons and the Steigenbergers and creating Park Inns and Country Inns and, in my consulting days, having done everything possible from a Marriott and a Meridians to a Movenpick to whatever you said, but had never done anything for a brand of Indian origin. And for me, the brand of Indian origin that mattered the most, the group that mattered the most was the combination of Tata and Taj. And that made life very easy to take that decision. And this time, I was more keen
Why?
because of all the circumstances that I said. They all came together, and I was more keen to.
Those were the reasons for saying yes, but there was a good reasons for saying no. In that this company had been down in the dumps, so you've glossed over that in your stuff.
Correct, but
for many, many years, many people had said it couldn't be turned around. So why did you say yes?
Yeah, I always say this. I love this movie. I don't know if you have seen this called Chak.
No, I haven't seen.
It's the Shah Rukh Khan movie, yeah.
Chak De India,
And it has one of those dialogues, जो नहीं हो सकता वही तो करना है. So, for me, when people say it cannot be done, that's when I say no. We will see how it can be done.
So you arrive in India. The Taj is going through, I think it's fair to say, I can say it, a period of turmoil. The Tata Group has had a period of turmoil before you come. What were your first feelings when you landed here?
I was, and I am still, in awe of the group because, as I said, having worked globally and that too for almost 3 decades, I had come across a lot. But the kind of ethos of the group, I have never experienced before. I'd heard about it, but sometimes seeing is believing, and experiencing is taking it to the next level. I think that was great. The second, because I'd been away for so long, and in between, balancing that life with new destinations was more important than coming to India and doing holidays in the palaces especially. When I first went visiting our palaces in Rajasthan, or I went to the south, and I saw the level of service and I experienced the quality that we had, very soon it became very clear to me that we were, like sitting on a very, very big opportunity, and something needed to be done. So I think the path became clearer once I came, I joined, and actually experienced some of our iconic assets.
Many people, particularly CEOs, when they come into a new company, try and look at what mistakes have been made and to set them right. Now that's history. You can tell us what you identified as the mistakes.
I think
without running down any
Yeah,
predecessor,
no, I never do that.
So let's.
Anyway,
I know
so
you've never said a word against any predecessor, but let's talk in general terms.
in general terms, and at that time, I had mentioned it also to my predecessor and the executive leadership team that in a heterogeneous country like India, you cannot be monobrand. I just feel that there are several Indias and several customer points.
Yeah.
I actually grew up in Delhi, and we had this wonderful DDA flats.
Right.
And you had the Janta flat, and you had the LIG, then you had the MIG, then you had the self-financing, the duplex, etc., etc. And I think that at that point of time, identified different segments in India.
Okay.
Today, it's become even more diverse because there are this nouveau riche, there is 100 million people who spend very differently, there is a top 5 that spends very differently, then there is the next 200-300 million in the rising middle class, which also wants experience and goes out. So I think the opportunity coupled with the name that our founder gave, our founder called it the Indian Hotels Company, and the Taj was built so that the Indians could go to a hotel, which was not allowed under the British era. So we should have a brandscape which addresses the needs and wants of all Indians and not just a particular set of people. So I think that's the only thing, and a lot of work, as I said, was done on Gateway and Vivanta. Maybe the execution for a variety of reasons, post 9/11 and the world became more experiential, was not in tune with time. So that was the opportunity to change that and become again, the largest hospitality ecosystem of India, which was something which we were beginning to lose or had almost lost.
If you talked to the management of the Taj in the 80s or so when Gateway was first propounded, the argument was someone like Conrad Hilton went to America and he took the Waldorf Astoria, but he also created motels in towns, that there should be a hotel company that catered to all Indians, even those of relatively modest means and not just the billionaires. That vision was lost somewhere along the way. When you came in, that wasn't really the vision, was it?
It wasn't, but the truth stays the truth. I think whether Mr. Hilton said so or the famous sentences of JRD, how decision making becomes easier is if it is good for the country
Yeah.
and if it is good for the company.
Yeah.
So, being multi brand from coming from a group like Tata's, which has been so strong into nation building and India needing all this infrastructure of hotels. Is it good for the country? Yes. Is it good for the company to have multi brand and spread your sources of revenue, or better said, diversification of your top line through different brands and leverage the great assets in terms of systems, intellectual capital created by the Taj to other brands, especially the core values. The T, which stands for the trust of all stakeholders, A for the awareness of communities we live and work in, and J for the joy in doing whatever we do. Why not spread this core values and this culture to other brands and make them strong pillars in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years from now?
So, in practical terms, you're sitting in the CEO's office, you're looking at this bleeding company. What are the first things you do? We've talked about the vision. Now let's talk about the
Well,
experience.
it's very interesting. Actually, now we can share it because it's all like passé and it happened a long time ago. So, November I started. 1st of December, we were ready with our plan called Aspiration 2022.
Already?
Yes.
Okay.
We had the meeting of the top 35 people. We created the plan which we said we will do, increase our margins, increase our growth to 15 hotels a year, increase our, brandscape. But most importantly, we came up with a project which was a short-term project between December till 31st of March, which we called Project Win.
Okay.
And the name was very carefully chosen because there is nobody who does not want to win. And that had several components, and we had one person leading that Project Win, which was with the ambition in 4 months to turn everything around and create 100 crore plus profit after tax.
Sounds like madness.
Sounds like madness, but it was doable because I could see that.
How was it doable? Really? And if it was doable, why hadn't they done it before?
Maybe because we get used to a lot of costs which may not be necessary. We don't focus on market share. We don't focus maybe sometimes on revenue. And I think
Give me an example of the kind of costs you thought were unnecessary.
Cost that was unnecessary is like too much of expense on marketing, too much of expense on sales. Our total commercial expense for that level of revenue in 2017-18 financial year is today 90% of that amount, despite having so many new brands, despite having so many businesses, and a top line on an enterprise level which has increased by 3.5x. So, unnecessary trips, unnecessary foreign trips, number of people going on a trip. I think we all did it during COVID.
Yeah.
When the revenue fell to zero, what did we do? So a little trailer of that is what we did in 17-18 in the 4 months with Project Win. Second, we created a top line focus, increasing market share. And then
How do you do that in real terms?
you do it
Because you're cutting on marketing, and yet how do you increase market?
No, marketing, unnecessary trips, expenses,
Okay.
brochures, movies, etc., etc. Because we had done enough. There was enough available which was done. Market share improvement comes with focus on revenue management. Market share focus comes on increasing your share through some tactical changes that you make to your product. And we kept doing that for 2.5
Give me
years.
some examples.
One example is, I think the best example I can give, which has ever happened in the Indian history, I would say, is look at the repositioning of Taj Mahal Hotel Delhi, popularly known as Taj Mansingh.
Yeah.
That was not in 3 or 4 months' time. Our revenue share to NDMC went up by almost 80%, from 17.25 to 32.5.
People who don't understand what the economics were, the NDMC owns the shell of the building, right? And
They own
you
the
guys
land.
operated.
And
And you guys operated. And there's a revenue sharing arrangement with NDMC, which looked at great danger because NDMC did an auction which the Taj won. But you won it by offering them a much higher share of revenue. That's fair?
correct, 80% higher, because that was open bidding. It was a live ticker being played in Connaught Place and Khan Market. Then we spent around 300 crores in renovating it. Today we make more money, despite all these increases, than we ever made before. And
How?
so that's
What
why
did you do?
Explain
that.
I give a very, very simple example. We had everybody's, I would say, preferred restaurant, especially in Japanese cuisine, Wasabi.
Yeah. वो तो बंद कर दिया. You closed it.
We had to close it. Why did we close it?
Why?
Because you can't pay 32.5% on genuine wasabi food in India. It's not just the 32.5. You have to add capital reserve because you'll have some renovation works. Around 4% is the industry norm. Then you add property taxes. Then you add building insurances. So any revenue that does not generate an operating margin north of 40% creates a loss. So every miso soup we would have sold would have created a loss. So we didn't shut it because we love to shut wasabi. I mean, I love wasabi. My family likes wasabi. But we had to do it because it became unaffordable. The same thing in terms of number of rooms.
Okay.
We are maybe the first company in the world to go down from 284 rooms to 214 rooms.
I've noticed that. Why?
Because the hotel was built in, between 76 to 78 or 75 to 78. Those days, the bathroom sizes were small. Now, the hotel is built. The facade is there. The windows are there. You can't, replace them, juggle around with the windows. So what did we do? We made 3 rooms into 2 rooms. But more importantly, the calculation was bottom up. If I have to pay so much, what is the ability to charge we must have to create rooms department profit, which will enable us to afford such an expensive rent proposition. So I don't know of anyone else who's actually reduced inventory or any book that teaches that to actually make more money. We doubled the size of chambers. I remember our favorite, you know him, you like him, I like him, Satyajit Krishnan. He was at that time GM. Today he runs whole of South of India for us. And he looked at me, but he didn't say it. I could do face reading. Ki, sir, ek floor pe to koi aata nahi, 2 pe kaun aayega? Today there is no place in chambers to sit. So I think a lot of these actions helped us drive revenue, reposition the property. And I think this is
You built apartments for long stay guests also.
And 2 floors of apartments.
That's right.
Because again, the same thing. We don't have to be the rate leader in the city. In an ideal world, we are the rate leader, we are the occupancy leader, we are the RevPAR leader. But the apartment users are mostly diplomats. Diplomats go away for Easter, they go away for Christmas, they go away for long summer holidays. There's no use of AC, there's no change in housekeeping, linen, etc. So your costs go down. So what you are charging is actually getting you almost 90% margin on the rooms versus a typical 75 to 80%.
I hadn't thought of it that way. You're right. Yeah.
So that's how we juggled around a lot. And it has actually become, or is going to become a case study. Georgetown was very fascinated, University of Georgetown, Washington, D.C. I think they're writing the case, should be ready in a few months from now.
What else did you do? The expansion. I mean, you've expanded at a breakneck pace, right? You have 325 hotels in the pipeline? Huh?
255 in pipeline, 385 in operation.
385 in operation, starting from 100 and something.
Starting from 125 in operation and 15 in pipeline.
And there was a phase when you took over when Marriott was about to overtake Taj as the largest hotel company. Now they're way, way behind.
only in number of hotels. And I think having worked myself 15 years for an American group, I don't think in India we should only look at the number of rooms or number of hotels. If I add another 400 homestays to it, then in terms of units, we cross 1,000. Uh, India still needs the big groups like the Tatas, like the Birlas, like Mahindras, like Reliance, etc. Adani Group, which is going very strongly into hotels. There is like 10, 20, 25 groups. We are a very promoter-driven country. We need the capital and the capex to come from someone. And I think we should look at the sweet spot, and that's what we tried to do, between asset heavy and asset light. And we came up with the reversal of our figures through the growth. We made the company more resilient, the revenues more diversified. Today, our asset heavy is 30% and asset light is 70%.
For people who don't know these terms, asset light means you manage hotels that other people own. Asset heavy means you own and operate your own hotels.
That's correct. Absolutely.
So within
right.
asset heavy, you sometimes have complicated structures like Taj Mahal, Delhi, but usually it's quite clear cut.
Usually it's quite clear. Having said that, we did not stop investing. We are doing the 2 islands of Lakshadweep. We finished the project in Havelock, Andaman Nicobar, which is the best or the only best property. I mean,
it's number one in the field of one.
Yeah. And then we are doing very interesting, combo hotel. We did Ekta Nagar, which is Kevadia, with a Vivanta and a Ginger. We built the Ginger flagship at the Mumbai airport. We are building a Ginger at Goa airport, the new Mopa airport. So a lot of investments are still happening, but we try to maintain that balance. And when you're doing investments or your owned hotels, your growth speed is not the same as if you're purely managing other people's assets. So, and that is not a part of our strategy. It's just by sheer determination, the brandscape, or maybe certain decisions we took, that we went so far ahead on number of hotels. But if we look at the totality of being a hospitality ecosystem, from homestays to flight catering, 60% meal share with Taj Sats.
Which is now a very profitable company.
Which is a very profitable. Actually, that was our first turnaround. The second one was Ginger. Taj was always good. It was not that Taj was bleeding. Some of these businesses were not doing well. But we did make some efforts. The good news is they all paid off.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone can dispute that. I wanted to talk a little bit about the focus on luxury or not focus on luxury. One of the criticisms within the industry, when you went out into these other areas where he's neglecting the luxury business, the Taj is a luxury brand. There was that problem, wasn't there, in terms of perception?
No, I think sometimes I find it very difficult to understand. When we announced our aspiration 2022, a lot of people said, oh, this will not happen. When that happened, some stalwarts said, well, they will not be able to manage it. When that started happening, oh, they'll run out of talent. Now, the latest is there's no focus on luxury. If there is one brand that has become a big challenge for the entire world in luxury, then it is the Taj brand.
Explain that.
Number one, the most important branding company in the world, which measures brand values, is Brand Finance.
Yeah.
Tata Group has used Brand Finance for decades. Getting rated as India's strongest brand across all sectors. That means if you take the top 10, which includes the likes of HDFC, LIC, Amul, etc., you're constantly getting rated as India's strongest brand. World's strongest hotel brand, 4 years out of the last 5 years, it has to be earned. This is not that easy. That's number one. Number two, now let's look at scale. Taj is getting close to a portfolio of 150 hotels. As we speak, tomorrow we are opening our first, kind of a safari or a lodge at the Kruger National Park
In South Africa.
And when that would have opened, 4 days later, we are opening our first hotel in continental Europe, in Frankfurt. So 1st of June, Taj Hessischer Hof will open in Frankfurt. And at the same time, if you look at the holy Ganges River, from Rishikesh to Raichak in the southernmost part of,
Bengal.
Calcutta, Bengal, where the Ganges gets 2 kilometers wide, we have a Taj today. You start with the Gangtok, we have a Taj Guras Kutir, to Kurseong, we have a Taj Chia Kutir, and Guwahati, which was always a Vivanta, is getting upgraded over the next 3 years to also Taj. It was initially built as a Vivanta, and we are going as far as Kaziranga. But more importantly, with the first palace in the northeast, the Pushpabanta Palace.
Where's that? I don't
in
know. In
Agartala, in Tripura.
Okay.
It's a beautiful palace. Might become like really among our top 3 palace propositions that we have in our portfolio. So I think a lot has been done on that front. The repositioning of Mansingh, as I told you. Taj Palace still dominates despite it being the mice runner in the heart of Delhi. It still manages to deliver luxury. I would have thought when people make those comments, I think it's nice, but to just give some kind of an objective view of it. What makes you say what you say? I would have preferred when more and more Indians would be proud that it is a brand from India, probably the only brand from India, which has been able to make a global impact.
In the highly competitive hotel sector.
Highly competitive. And it's only the hotel sector brands that are known from India, whether it's the Oberoi's or it's the Leela and it's the Taj. So I think we should feel very proud that the hospitality sector at least has been a good ambassador of Indian branding outside of India too, not just within India.
Are you now in a position where you don't have to go out looking for properties? People come to the Taj and say, will you manage our hotels? Will you build a hotel in our area?
Yeah, I think it was always the case since I joined. Only the number of queries or number of people have increased. This has happened largely because the hotel sector has also become an important investment sector for investors. And the second, obviously, if you're doing well and you're always in the news for good reasons, then people come to you. And of course, within India, I would say to be partners with a Tata Group company is a matter of honor.
So, average month, how many people would approach the Taj?
On an average, I would say at least 100 people would. It would be approximately 3 to 4 queries a day. A day, and maybe of that only 10% are relevant. 90 you have to say no to. The sad part is because of so many queries, there is very little time left to actually go and find opportunities which you really want.
Yeah.
I wish we could spend a bit more time in doing something in Southeast Asia. I wish we could spend a bit more time in finding a decent property in Pune. That's one.
You still have the Blue Diamond?
Yes, very interesting that you say that. Blue Diamond, we've just shut it down for renovations. It will open as a part of the Claridge's collection, and it will be, I'm saying it on record on your podcast, will be the best boutique hotel that India has ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
The Blue Diamond, but it's like an old Hilton type structure, right?
Yeah, but it'll be completely changed, including the facade.
Okay. And it's ambitious because Pune has a Ritz-Carlton and various other kinds of hotels.
I said boutique hotel.
So you're going completely different structure.
We are going completely different. We're again reducing the number of rooms, and that offering in that style, I don't think it exists in India today.
Wow. Okay, so let's get back to the expansion. Are you now in a situation where a guy can drive from South India all the way up to, say, Kashmir or Assam or Darjeeling and stay at Taj hotels every night?
Absolutely.
Yes?
Yeah. In a worst case, maybe you have a Gateway or a Vivanta,
No, but still a Taj hotel.
But Taj for sure, yes. We don't reach till Arunachal because we have a Vivanta there. That's what I meant in Tawang, which is the last village, or in the words of Honorable Prime Minister, the first village when you enter
It's
it.
virtually the border with China.
Is the border with China. So we have from Diu, Daman, all the places we are
Andamans.
going into. Andamans, you can say it, Srinagar. So all is worked well from Kovalam and Kumarakam to even you go further, get into Sri Lanka, or you go a little bit to Maldives, and under development with 2 islands in Lakshadweep, but already running the island of Bangaram for the government.
That's their older hotel. You've taken it over?
We took
There
it
used to
over.
be only one hotel in Lakshadweep,
Yeah,
which is
that
Bangaram.
is 6 months ago. We took it over.
Okay.
There are 2 properties. One is a hotel, and the other is what they call the new tent city.
Meant for divers and people like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, talk about going abroad, because if you are the world's strongest brand in hotels, then you need to expand and take that cloud to foreign markets. Are you planning to do that?
Well, we are. We are under development now in Cairo.
Okay.
Which will be a phenomenal hotel in the heart of Cairo. It's not on the Nile, but it's on the heart of Cairo in the theater district. Then, as I said, we are opening in Frankfurt. We are opening at least 3 safari lodges in South Africa. We are looking very closely at some projects in Mauritius.
Okay.
And
you already have one hotel there, right? Or
you had a hotel
a
long time ago.
A long time ago, problem with the owners, I remember, yeah.
And then what we need is really Bangkok, Singapore, Bali in Southeast Asia, and we need a hotel definitely in Switzerland. I mean, there would be nothing better than getting a hotel in Switzerland, because that connect after London that the Indians have had, which will not go away just because a Vietnam comes up or a Bali comes up. These are destinations that get very favorable review from our people for 3 years, 4 years. But after that, it goes back to the same old likings that we have had of Zurich and Geneva and Interlaken.
Is this the Yash Chopra effect, do you think?
I think it is the Yash Chopra effect, because we all grew up with Bollywood, and we've all seen Switzerland at least on the screen.
You've opened in New York, and you've had a very, very tough time. And the hotel is lovely and wonderful. I've stayed there. But financially, it's been a very difficult uphill struggle. Why is that, and what happens now?
Well, number one, I think there was a phase that came where Taj went international, maybe a bit inspired from those days, the theory of 6 continents. So from Sydney to New York to Cape Town. And some of those iconic assets were done with the hope that the market keeps going up. But by the time the leasehold was acquired in New York, which was only leasehold, and it got renovated and it opened, the subprime crisis came. And for us, as an Indian company, then came 2611 too. And then the subprime led to a very difficult 3-4 year period in the Western world, not so much in the Indian world. But so that hotel started suffering right from the beginning. It was just a function of bad timing. Having said that,
I want to stop you there when you said bad timing. You're a public limited company, so I can ask you that. How much is the Taj lost on the Pierre?
Oh, it's a lot of money. It depends how you calculate. So it's all there in public domain.
More than $100 million?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so a lot of money.
That's, I think, the important part is...
And can I ask you also, because you're trying to gloss over this, didn't you guys sign a really bad deal?
I think in hindsight, we are all smarter. So, yes.
I'll take that as a yes then, yeah.
No, I think the deal is good. The deal has 2 components. It has a lease, which is very affordable on paper. It has a management contract to service the apartments of the co-op. It's a co-op of almost 80 high net worth individuals, which is very good. The challenges of working with a co-op, especially in New York in the US, is that they don't have agreement amongst themselves. They're all governed by a board. So getting any decision which is very important to a hotel operator becomes a very lengthy process. Up till now, no hotel company that I am aware of, because I went to my seniors and super seniors seeking help. What is it that I could do to be faster and help our company? And everybody came with the same answer. We have done so much in our life, we have done so much in our careers, but when it comes to dealing with the co-op structure, it's not easy.
Well, my point is the Four Seasons gave up that property for exactly the same reason, and you guys rushed in anyway.
I don't know, because it was almost, 14 years before,
Yes, of
15 years before I joined. Only thing I know is at that time I was friends, and I'm still friends with Four Seasons. Not the global head of development of Four Seasons was and today is not in that job, but is a personal friend. And he was like, why would Taj do it? I said, just because I come from India, you're trying to influence me to say, please, please, please don't do it. So, I don't think they gave up. Nobody gives up any asset, especially in our business. I think what happened for whatever reasons. If I knew exactly what happened, or if I had found out, and if I knew you will ask, I would have prepared myself.
All right. We'll move on.
So
you've nicely ducked that. We'll move on to a more important question, which is that most people who come in from outside to turn around a company that's in trouble bring in lots and lots of people and say, this outsider will do this because you guys inside have screwed up. You haven't done that. On the whole, you're running the Taj with people you inherited, and yet you're getting such better results. Why is that? How is that?
Because they are good people. Sometimes leaders don't think that it's not the people. It's all about leadership. It's all about strategy. It's all about execution. And most important, focus. What measures gets done. And if you are focused on what you have set to do, then I think it's easier. And what I found was phenomenal quality of people. Having worked across the globe, it was easy for me to see. I did take help from two colleagues from the past. One was, in my opinion, the best in terms of absorbing growth from a back of house perspective. We always talk about guest room, lobby, F&B concept, but we forget receiving, garbage, security, kitchens, number of burners, what kind of menu that will serve, how many positions you need to cook, etc., etc. So this gentleman did a phenomenal job for us and is now superannuated. Still, we have retained him in a form that whenever we need, we can call upon him. And the second was to help us in Africa. That person specialized. Yeah, it's a new market.
And you hadn't done very well there when you.
And as an advisor, and the results already showed, because we acquired 100% of Cape Town property. Today it's among one of our top 10 producing assets in terms of bottom line.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was a hotel that was losing money for a long time.
That was losing money. It's another case study.
Yeah, that's a very interesting case study, because everybody said it was the Taj's folly to take that because of some idea that Africa was important, and everybody said it would never make money. You're saying you own it and it's made money?
It's making money consistently for last 4-5 years. 4 years, I would say.
So do you think one of the problems with many companies, and I'm not talking specifically about the Taj, is that even if you have good people, there has to be a vision that unites them, there has to be a culture that unites them, and there has to be leadership that points them in the right direction?
Everything that you said is such a generic statement, I can only say yes.
I can ask you about the Taj and make it specific if you want.
No, I would say I think the hotel sector in India has changed.
In what way?
Everybody talks now a bit more about business. We have moved on. You look at any company announcing results. They're all talking about record quarter, record year. They're not in existence, all of them, since a few years. Many of them have been listed for so many years. They never did that so proudly as they do it now. So I think some of the changes are also coming because India changed. And if you recognize change, you embrace change, and quickly execute upon that, then the dividends are there for all stakeholders.
So let's talk about some of the ways you think that India has changed, which the Taj has been able to embrace.
Well, let me put it this way, like hotel sector, yeah, it's okay, it makes money, it doesn't make money, it is cyclical. Let's wait October to March. That's when the majority of the business come. April to October is
Yeah.
like loss making. Everybody now tries to make money from 1st of April onwards. There's no question of waiting till October. And
For the
if
season.
if something went wrong, people didn't come, they didn't come. Okay, sorry, we had a bad year. That's not the thought process anymore.
Okay.
Number two, investing in talent. People working 16, 18 hours, low paid jobs without, and anybody who spoke good English, um, smart, could stand in the lobby, is a great general manager. But what about his market share? What about his, RevPAR penetration? What about his connect in the society? What about so many other attributes which are also related to business became important. Number four, I would say, just leaning back and thinking we can never do this, we can never do that. That also doesn't work. Today, I think, and as you all see it, I mean, 2,000 crore profit after tax is a very good profit in this sector globally.
Yeah.
And it's not that we have done it 1 year. Now, 4 years, we have had 4 consecutive record years, and each year is better than we have ever had in our history before. And why is that happening? It also helps you feel proud. You have the ability to invest into your people. You have the ability to invest into your assets. You have the ability to secure new destinations, because you might have to pay a bit like other companies paid 30, 40 years ago. Today, they may get easily simple management contracts across the world, which is actually also getting difficult. It's not that easy anymore. But if you don't have money, you are loss making, you have a lot of debt, what do you do? So I think for us, I think we're talking about debt. We went from 3,500 crore debt to today almost 4,500 crore cash. So
Those are quite amazing figures, no?
and no debt. So obviously it gives you the confidence, it gives you the standing, and it gives you the ability to think bigger. But if you don't have anything, how do you think big?
One of your predecessors, Raymond Bixson, used to have a whiteboard outside his office with a figure like $50,000, I think it was. And I asked him, what is that? And he said, that's much interest I'm paying on this godforsaken Land's End project, which will never happen because the Taj had bought the ITC hotel, the Sea Rock, and was going to build a property there. And there was some problem. And they kept paying rent, and it was huge debt. Apparently, that's been resolved.
Very good that you asked me about this. It's been resolved, and I think this is the next icon of India, equivalent to our Marina Bay Sands or our Burj Al Arab. The excavations are on, should be completed soon. We have finished 75% of the excavations. It'll be a 169-meter tall tower.
Okay.
And I think something which will really make every Indian proud, and especially every Mumbaikar proud. If Jamshedji Tata's vision was the Taj in Kolaba, then Mr. Ratan Tata's vision was the Taj Bandstand.
Yeah.
Is the name we gave, erstwhile Sea Rock. I think this will be a phenomenal asset.
When will it open?
2030, because you're building on the rocks
Yeah.
and in the sea. It's not an easy construction, so we have taken 4 to 5 years.
How many rooms?
The final call on that has not been taken in terms of number of keys, but it will have approximately 700 bays.
So it's big.
It's big.
And Bombay can take that?
If one city in India can take not 700, another 5 times 700, then it is Mumbai.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're short in capacity, you're saying?
We are short in capacity in Mumbai, for sure.
Let me just talk a little bit about how our perception of hotels has changed. Once upon a time, staying in a hotel was a luxury. It was a really big deal. As India has got more prosperous, more people are staying in hotels. Similarly, hotel restaurants, which were once the icons and everything followed from hotel restaurants, we are now looking at them differently. There are many standalone places. Hotel restaurants are no longer the only option. Has that changed the way in which you think?
It has, and it's a bit unfortunate. So the hotel accommodation part is fine. On the restaurant part, I think we could do better as hoteliers. We could definitely be far more competitive. But since I started my career, we just keep changing the price, but not the value that we offer. Every year the price increases. And the disparity
I'm sorry,
between
I'm going to stop you here. You are the head of India's leading hotel company. You're saying hoteliers have not coped well with the restaurant boom, and that every year you increase the prices but don't change the quality.
not the quality, you don't change the value
The value,
proper.
same thing.
It's a great opportunity. It's not a question of warning. I think it's a great opportunity for India and for India's hotel sector.
So why haven't
to
you guys used it?
We are using it. It's not that we haven't
One
used it.
Loya you've done, which is of course a great success.
No, we
And
did
is it-
Loya, we did Captain Cellar, we did the
I've come into wine later, so we'll talk about that.
correct. But
apart
look
from-
at the new House of Ming. I mean, including House of Ming in London is very successful. We have
Old
done
brand.
Bombay
brand.
Brasserie.
Old brands.
Everything old is not bad. We don't have to do some.
You're doing new
something-
things, no? You're doing new hotels, etc. Why are you not doing new restaurants?
We have a new Italian coming up in this hotel itself at the Taj Mahal Palace.
In the old souk space?
In the old souk space.
You want to talk about it?
We can talk. It's
Tell
going
us.
to be Paper Moon from
the
Milano.
international change? There's an
Yes,
international-
it's internationally owned. We have the rights for India. We did the first one at Fort Aguada, which worked well.
Okay.
But we had to change that restaurant. This is the first attempt we are making with the new Italian, and that too in the flagship. It's also at the Raffles in London.
Yeah.
The OWO project is doing quite well there. We intend to bring in more such concepts, and
I think people don't realize, because everybody looks at you through the prism of the Taj being turned around. They don't realize that you had a career in F&B when you were younger, that you were the manager of the first first Japanese restaurant in India.
that's true. And I had the fortune of running all possible restaurants at that time. The Ashok had, from the coffee shop to the Chinese to the Japanese to the
the
Cypriotic.
Ashok was the place to go.
The
in those-
place to go to. What I meant by saying on a big opportunity, one is you're already at a disadvantage because your GST that you pay on hotel restaurants is much higher than you
Yeah.
pay on standalone. But I think the bigger differentiator is the other expenses that come with excise and your charges on liquor, etc. So we need, as a sector, we need to figure out a way, and I've been working on it through other associations, the CII and HAI, etc., to how to make ourselves not live in a world of competitive disadvantage. Don't want to take any business. There is enough business for all. And our restaurants could again start having a waiting of 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hours. Like my growing up years, when we went to the Machan, we had to wait a minimum 1 hour at 11 in the night to get a table to just have coffee.
Same with Shamiana and Bombay.
And same was Shamiana and Bombay. So I think we can get back there because the basic fabric of the nation is the same.
But what do you need to do to get back there?
I think, why did Machan become so famous? Just go back in time and look at the value you got in terms of the pricing.
Yeah.
4 rupees Kona coffee, as many helpings as you want. Nobody questioned. Bullseye, club sandwich, burgers, 7 rupees, 11 rupees, 15 rupees. I mean, if we take that price in today's context, maybe 300, 400, 500 rupees. But you don't have to charge like 1,500 rupees, 3x more. So I think when you become very successful in any business, then the challenges that are coming, you don't tend to anticipate or proactively, do things to mitigate those challenges. And that is how these things came up. But it's very good for India that we have so many standalone.
Yeah. Not so good for you, but good for the rest of them.
No, I don't think we will get most of those customers who just go
Why?
to the standalone.
Why?
There's a different price point. But we should have the ability to go and have a few drinks in the hotel. The typical behavior of the customer is they come, they have had a few drinks at home, then they come, they order one last one or 2 small ones, and then the food is ordered. I think none of that has changed. Why? Because the pricing is so prohibitive.
Okay, so I want to talk about another of your passions, which people don't talk about enough, is you're actually quite passionate about European food and in particular about wine. Nobody in India has ever done anything about wine, partly because most people who run hotels in India don't understand wine. You took a very successful spot where Wasabi used to be in the Taj Mansingh, which you could have turned into a money spinner by continuing with something similar. And you did the very risky thing of opening a wine bar. Tell us why you did it.
Vinothek is a concept which is going to come. So that's number one. Is the more and more wine drinking will become popular also in India. It is already becoming, but it's just at the very beginning. It will take another 3, 4, 5 years. That's number one.
You're sure about that? Because
I'm 100% sure. Look at what Sula has done with wines. Look at what growers have done with wine. Look at so many others that are coming up, and Indian wines are getting better and better.
Yeah.
For somebody who started my career in the early 80s, if I think of the Golconda wine versus
Ruby,
what we
you
have,
remember Ruby?
Ruby. So it's a big change. Second, I was always fascinated by this Taj Mansingh, and Taj Mansingh used to have captain's cabin.
Yeah.
And captain's cabin was right for that point of time. So if you wanted to do wine, then you could use that memory of bringing the captain together with the cellar. And that could be the captain's cellar. The third is certain things which I say creating value for people. And the value does not only help a restaurant, it can help the entire hotel. The kind of crowd that we attract now at Captain's Cellar in Mansingh, it may not be our highest selling, which it is not, highest selling outlet. But the kind of crowd that comes in now is people who had maybe stopped going to hotels. They had become more standalone or at home. Now they come in, and especially the crowd of the diplomats. A lot of diplomats, and if you have foreigners in the hotel that are staying, they all like to go to this outlet. And finally, I think if you're going to do other non-Indian and non-Chinese restaurant concepts, you must have a better knowledge of wines.
Yeah.
Because that's what goes with the food. With Indian food, a lot of people drink any kind of wine. For me, really, it's the Gewürztraminer is the only real wine that goes with the Indian food. Yes, you can do pairing with many other things, but you can also do those pairings with then tequila or gin or whiskey or.
Yeah.
But the real wine comes with the European food. It comes within European, I would say, with the Italian food, with the French food, with the Spanish food. I mean, these are your hubs of wine coupled with the dining. I mean, look at San Sebastian. I mean, the best restaurants in the world in a place like San Sebastian, which is both food and wine.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about Indian food. The Taj was in many ways the trendsetter and the pace setter for Indian food. You were the first hotel to put dosas on room service for breakfast. You introduced many dishes. And then along the way, it lost the plot. Then you come along and you start Loya, and suddenly you're a player again. Explain that thought process.
Well, when I came, I said I saw many things which were great, and many things needed a change as a lot of time had passed by. So the masala series that we had done was very good, but the entire decor and the entire menu offering of very heavy food is not where the world is headed.
Yeah.
And Loya was inspired as a combination of several things. One was my experience with Junoon in New York. I think it was when it was launched, and even today, it did quite well. And it was launched very nicely with a lot of focus both on beverage as well as food. Right. The second thing was my biggest inspiration was one of my favorite restaurants was at the Ashok called the Frontier.
Of course.
And at that time, I think Frontier was the most successful.
In those days, it was better than Bukhara.
It was possibly better than, or let's say it was something to reckon with. You were very
on
proud,
par, shall we say?
Or on par. And so if you look at Loya, it's inspired from a small impact, and it's like a cocktail of all this. It's a bit of Frontier because those chairs are very, very close to what Frontier had, including the artwork. If you look at the food, and it's also that we've used Junoon as a consultant for us, is very much inspired from what Junoon had. If you look at the cocktail menu, it is definitely coming more from the US. And also the whole look, feel, experience. I think we have taken it several notches higher of our Indian offering. Having said that, we will be also relaunching masala, but not with the Taj, rather with the reimagined gateway offering. So we will relaunch Masala Bay or Masala Craft or Masala Art, one of those three, but we have called it as a working title is Masala 2. Just like we have reimagined ginger, we have reimagined gateway. So the reimagined masala will also come to life in maybe in 6-8 months from now. It's not that far off.
Okay. If you look at most of the great Indian chefs you hear of today, from Ranveer Brar to Gagan Anand, they all have a Taj connection somewhere. Are you confident that this generation of chefs will have the same impact?
The school is the school, and an institution is an institution. I think Taj is both a school and an institution. A school where you learn, and an institution that creates the professionals because of the platform it provides you to excel. We are very happy and proud to see, Ranveer, met him many times doing so well. And many others, there are so many people I meet, and I had no clue they'd worked for the Taj. You go to London and you go to some of those restaurants which
They're all Taj people.
They're all Taj people, right? So they know me because I work here, but I don't know because in my time they were not here. So I think this is a great service again to the nation. When I said to you, when you work for the Taj, you serve the nation. It's, these are also your ambassadors outside of India, within India, face of Indian kitchen. I mean, there's a lot of great things that Taj has done. Look at Quilon, look at Sriram. I mean, 13 years in a row retaining his Michelin star. So I think there is so many of these good examples that we have currently or have had in the past, and I'm sure there will be many more such examples in future, because one thing is very important that we have done is we are spending a very big amount on building talent.
You are. Including kitchen talent.
Having exchange programs. It's unfortunate what has happened with Dubai, but we had a regular exchange with Dubai. Because of our 3 hotels there, I thought there was a huge potential to have that knowledge sharing between India and Dubai, between India and London. All these things, we've sent people for higher education to Bukini, to Glion, to La Roche, to SHLs, Lucerne, ESSEC, MBA. So I think with all that education, the modern kind of thinking, the changes that will come, we are possibly far ahead of the game today than we were ever.
And you're investing in the future.
The
other interesting thing you've done is, and you mentioned this in passing, is that the Taj used to spend a lot of money on marketing. There used to be these big hotel openings to which 40 people would be flown in and would be encouraged to post on Instagram about the opening. Many movies would be made about how wonderful the Taj is. I mean, it happens to some extent, but you've cut down drastically on that. Explain that thought process.
If your product is good, if your people are good, if your thought process is good, you don't have to do a lot of those things. They will happen because people want to be a part of the success story. So it is an unfair comparison from the India of 25 years ago to the India of 15 years ago versus what it is today.
I'm comparing it to the India before Puneet Chatwal took over the Taj.
Which is also 8.5 years ago.
Not even a decade yet.
So a decade, a lot, sometimes nothing changes, for the famous saying, for decades, and something a century changes within a decade. I don't know of anybody else doing that either. I think we need to really look at a special event, not a hotel opening, to do that. Hotel opening is one large party, and you bring in people and you showcase what you have to showcase. So recently, we hosted the gala dinner for the HICSA, Hotel Investment Conference, South Asia. There we had 500 top people or 300 top people who had come for the reception from across the world who had come to attend the conference. And, Hotel Evade put a good conference together. And we had the gala dinner at the Taj. And then we laid out everything possible of what our chefs could do and showcase it to the world. We didn't think of any expense because expense did not matter. It was the prestige for our sector. Prestige of India, which foreigners were to see who work in their offices in London or Singapore or US somewhere.
But that's a dinner people are still talking about because it was spectacular success. But it was not, if you'll forgive my saying so, a dinner meant for influencers and people, which all other hotel companies do and you don't.
It's not fully accurate, but
It's mostly accurate.
Since you are making that comment, maybe we have to do some work on it and we'll make that change happen because we want to do. It's not that we don't want to do. Sometimes, if there is too much of something, the best way to stop is to stop completely and then restart.
That makes sense. But basically, when you have PR now at the Taj, it's mostly financial PR, stuff like that. It's not so much guest directed.
I don't agree. What is definitely happening is because we were never known for financial performance.
You're suddenly all over the pink papers.
We are standing out because that is happening. It's not that we don't do that PR. We do a lot of it. We still work with the communities. We still work with the Banaras Sari weavers. We still work with our customers. We are actually maybe even going to make a movie with our customers. So there's a lot in the pipeline, a lot under discussion, and it's actually in a B2C business, in a customer-centric business. If you are not thinking enough or doing enough about customers, then your history anyways.
Okay. Let's look back to the Puneet Chhatwal who accepted this job. When you accepted it, having turned it down once before, you had certain expectations of what you could achieve. Did you ever think you'd be so successful at the Taj?
From a business performance point of view, I had less doubt in my mind that we would definitely achieve with the right communication, with the right transparency, with the right authenticity with the people that we had. That was not the thing. But what has really surprised me is the kind of positioning you get, which is sometimes a bit worrying also, could keep you awake in the night, is at the end of the day, you're only a CEO of a hotel company. But in India, Taj is not just a hotel company. And that has actually, because I had never experienced it. I was a very young and a junior manager when I left India. And to come back, I did see that people really look up to this institution and they look up to who leads it.
So has it been difficult getting used to being a celebrity, being recognized, being talked about, being written about?
I don't know. Initially, it was very difficult. I had a lot of challenges with whatever being talked about, written about was also not very positive. So I think now we have the balance.
I've never heard anything negative about you. You've never really had bad publicity.
Maybe I never really did anything bad.
That could be right, but you have. You've had a good run.
No, but it's been a good run, and I feel very blessed. Also, the group leadership has played a very important role. Our board has been very supportive. You may have a good intent to do a lot of things, but you need that broader, not just from your own team, but also from the board. Especially post-COVID, I think it's been very good. The chair of the board was also the chair of Tata Sons.
You've been very lucky to have Chandra as the boss.
Chandra is the boss.
So supportive.
And also got to see Mr. Ratan Tata, to whom Taj was, very dear to him. Yeah. And that also helped. Ginger was very dear to him.
Ginger was his idea.
His idea.
It was the hotel equivalent of the Nano when he thought of it.
And I promised him when I came, I said, I can't do anything about Nano, but one thing I promise you, you'll be very proud of Ginger.
which I suppose wherever
Which
he
he
is,
was.
he must be. So what happens now? How long will you do this?
What happens now? Yeah, everything comes to an end at the end of the day.
You've already been here longer than you first told me you were going to be when I first met
I
you. When
didn't
you
know COVID would happen. So you have to
That's
not,
true.
as I
That's
said
fair.
at the outset of our conversation, you should never leave a task unfinished. It will never be fully finished because you're
I was
in
going to say that.
continuous
How will you
evolution.
ever finish this task? It just keeps getting bigger and
Bigger
bigger.
and bigger. So I'm very pleased with the last 8.5 years. And if the next few years go well, then I'll be extremely proud.
But 5 years from now, how old will you be?
67.
So it's still not, you're still not ready to retire then, no?
I don't think I'll ever retire.
Yeah, what will you do?
I don't know, Veer. I have not thought. I have always been like this. First, like maybe some people call it like in European languages, it would be called a tunnel view. That you're only thinking Indian hotels. Or some may say parochial. Not broaden your thinking horizon. What you'll do. Be happy with the challenge you have at the moment. Make the best out of it. And que sera, whatever will be, we'll see what comes. But at the moment, I'm just relentlessly focused on doing what I do well every day, and that's going to stay the same. Although I'd
Will
say
you ever be able to retire?
no, I said myself no.
I can't. I mean, it's not a choice. I don't think you can retire. This is the way you live.
This is the way I've lived always. So I don't think whatever I'll be doing something.
I can't see you retiring to Germany and running a little inn in your retirement.
But definitely, Europe is close to my heart, and I really always look forward to going there, even if it's like a week or 10 days.
I think most people don't realize that your German is as good as your English.
If I may boast of something
Yeah.
on your show, I would say proudly my German is better than my English.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you think in German?
I think in German.
Do you count in German?
I count in German, yeah.
So that's an interesting aspect of your side. So how many? You speak German, you speak English, you speak Hindi. Do you speak Punjabi?
Punjabi, French. And when I was younger, as you said, I opened the first Japanese restaurant. I spoke Japanese and I also spoke Italian, but now it's limited to what can I offer you? Good morning, good afternoon, goodbye.
Hotel Italian. But people watching this show will ask two questions. One is, Puneet, what is he going to do next? And the short answer is he doesn't know. He's still in the tunnel and he has no intention of coming out. The other will be, what do we look forward to with the Taj?
I think it would be fair to say that Taj would be growing from strength to strength as a brand, and Taj belonging to IHCL, which is the Indian Hotels Company, would keep contributing so that what has happened in the last so many years with IHCL actually strengthens and becomes far more resilient business than anybody ever thought it could be, and goes from strength to strength. At least we have put all metrics in place, as I spoke about in the beginning, the balance, the sweet spot between asset heavy, asset light, the sweet spot between number of brands and the kind of brandscape we have. And in an ideal world, little bit of opportunity, luck, and resources that we take Taj to even a higher level than where we are today.
You made good friends from your ITDC years who are still your friends. No? Sanjeev Kapoor is the most famous example, but there must be others, right?
Many others, including my seniors, whether it's KB Kachru, but we also happen to be in Radisson together. People who worked with me, senior to me, junior to me, my class, from college or from ITDC.
Are they all doing well now? Nobody's doing as well as Sanjeev, but are they doing well?
No, everybody's doing well in their own way. Of course, everybody's not become a celebrity like Sanjeev, but there are others who have gone into media, have done very well. There's somebody who went into selling his voice. He did very well. There's somebody who went into selling clothing business, did very well. So there's lots of people, hotel schools and hotel business is a very good training ground. It makes you a very versatile player. You can actually fit into any business.
I was going to ask you that. You have an entrepreneurial streak. You've run the Taj almost like an entrepreneur. You've come in, looked at direction, etc. Why have you never thought of doing something of your own?
It's not that I never thought of doing something. Many of my friends pushed me to do something on my own, but each time I thought of that, something good came my way and I got to the next level and the next level and the next level. And ultimately, when I came in the current role, those, including Sanjeev, who were pushing me to be an entrepreneur, said, no, now don't do entrepreneur. Stay where you are. So I think it's the life, takes you in different circles.
And it's not been so bad, no? The way
It's been very good. I'm happy and content.
Any hotels abroad at the moment that you admire? We'll exclude Taj hotels.
Oh, many.
Tell me something.
Which I've always. I mean, the afternoon tea at the Regent in Hong Kong, overlooking the harbour. The Raffles in
All
Singapore.
Or the original Raffles?
The original Raffles. Raffles in Singapore is the one I said. If you go to a setting like the Gleneagles in Scotland, it's very admirable. If you go to some of those properties which we cannot find anywhere, which is the properties of the Taj, the Rambags and the Lake Palace, and that I still admire a lot. I'm not a big fan of Northern Americas, but more of European style of hoteliering. So I would say a Plaza Athénée in Paris, or the Bristol in Paris, or the Breidenbacher Hof in Düsseldorf. One of those recent ones which I visited very late in my life, but I'm glad that I did. The last two that I've come across. One is Schloss Elmau.
I don't know whether
it is between Munich and Innsbruck. A G7 summit has taken place. There's a famous picture of Barack Obama and Angela Merkel sitting on the bank. This gentleman who's done all this has a very deep connection with India, but he's German. And the second one was more recently, last month, the Bürgenstock in Luzern, which was phenomenal.
Location of many international conferences and G15.
Exactly. So you can say whether it's Dolder Grand or it is Beau Rivage in Lausanne or the Bürgenstock, and even the Victoria Jungfrau in Interlaken.
So a lot of Swiss and German places.
Yeah, maybe I'm a bit biased because I think that has influenced me and my career a lot.
So the obvious question, many of these hotels, these great palace hotels, grand hotels, can be bought. The Taj is the money. Have you considered buying them or trying to manage them? Because you now have the skills, you have the money, you have the experience.
Let that be for your next podcast. Buying is not the only option. There are other ways to do business together. And maybe something is in the works.
Yeah, there is a suggestion that the Taj should buy or take over as management great palaces around the world, maybe use a different name or use the Taj name with something and make it a great international collection. Is that something that interests you?
That is not only something that interests me, that would be the obvious choice of what's next.
Yeah, I wondered why you didn't mention it, so I thought I'd bring it up myself when I asked you what's next.
I always have had a feeling when you mention too much about things that have not happened, they usually don't happen. But I would really want many things to happen, and something like this could be maybe the next great thing in our sector.
And contemporaries, who do you admire?
Contemporaries, who do I admire?
Because you generally get along with your contemporaries. I'm intrigued that there's no rivalry. You guys all say nice things about each other. So in India, say you and Anil Chadda, for instance, are always praising each other. So are there many people?
Well, he is a nice guy. What do you... I think I would, instead of saying admire, who are the ones I like, I think the team that we have as the executive committee of Hotel Association of India is phenomenal.
Who's on it?
Like from a Vikram Oberoi to Priya Paul to Jyotsna Suri to KB Kachru to Ajay Bakaya to, Anil Chadda. So, that makes it's a very nice Patu Keswani. These are people who are not, they are also provoking, they are also hardworking, they are entrepreneurs, they have created something on their own. So I think these is a very good set of people, very difficult to find this kind of a group, at least again in Germany I won't find it, in Switzerland I won't find it, in Austria, in UK, all the countries that I've actively worked in, to find so many together is a very rare thing to happen.
And if you're alone in the evening or you're just with close friends and you want to go out for dinner in Bombay or Delhi and you don't want to go to a Taj hotel where you'll be recognized and there'll be a lot of bowing and scraping, where would you go?
Honestly, I don't go to, say, okay, you go to Masala Library or Bombay Canteen or this Mask. I do go there, but the question is, where would you like to go where you are less recognized?
Yeah.
And where people feel what's the purpose of the visit is another acquisition coming. I really like the club culture in India.
Okay.
I like to go to the Breach Candy Club. I like to go to the Willingdon Club, sometimes to Bombay Gym. It's, you see the who's who of Mumbai, very simple, smartly dressed, nothing over the top. There's no special chairs, no special tables. Even CCI, Cricket Club, is a very nice place to go to. And you are one amongst lot of big personalities out there. And
that's an interesting headline, no? Puneet Chhatwal, whose company runs thousands of restaurants, given a choice, will go to a club.
No, you said, let's see, we are not here to write headlines. The question was, in your free time, when you're alone and you don't want to be recognized, where would you go? Then I think you want to go to a club.
And if you don't mind being recognized, where would you go?
If I don't mind being recognized?
Yeah.
Well, recently somebody asked me this question.
And you said?
The question was not exactly the same, but I said, what happens when I enter different kind of hotels? But in your question, I would say I would love to go to all our, ITC hotels or Oberoi hotels or Leela or, the restaurants, as I said, in Mumbai, the Bandstand to the Mask to...
everywhere that's interesting.
Everywhere.
Okay, all right. Puneet Chhatwal, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vir.